Welcome. If you can't find 10 minutes for yourself, then the truth is, you're not really living. You might think you're in control, but most of your thoughts have already been conditioned by your environment. I don't argue with myself. When I commit to doing something, I follow through. Fear and anger destroy lives. But there's an antidote: gratitude. Not the kind you merely think about, but the kind you deeply feel. You don't experience events themselves. You experience what your mind focuses on. You may not control what happens around you, but if you master your inner world, the outer world will have no choice but to adjust. This is not philosophy. It's a way of living that creates power from within. Have you ever noticed how your morning sets the tone for your entire day? What if I told you that in just 10 minutes, you could rewire your brain, dissolve fear, awaken real gratitude, and completely shift your emotional state? This isn't surface-level motivation. This is applied neuroscience, practiced daily by one of the most influential personal development leaders on the planet. But here's the truth. If you can't find 10 minutes to invest in yourself, you might already be losing your life to distractions. In this video, you'll dive into a process that has inspired millions around the world. A method that begins with silence and ends in clarity. It's not about escaping your reality. It's about facing it with strength. A man who transformed pain into purpose, who turned fragility into power, who took simple daily rituals and forged them into a system of emotional mastery. Today, you'll discover the 10 principles he uses every morning to shape his destiny, lead with conviction, and build a life of impact. But this is not just about understanding. It's about experiencing. He's not here to motivate you. He's here to wake you up. His presence shifts the atmosphere. His words dismantle mental barriers. His system trains your mind, body, and spirit to respond to chaos with clarity, intention, and direction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Robbins. Principle 1. What is priming, and why do you need to practice it every single day of your life? Have you heard of the concept of priming? If not, stop right here, because this could reshape your entire reality. Priming is the act of intentionally preparing your mind before the world has a chance to shape it for you. Most people believe they're thinking for themselves, but in truth, their thoughts are often reflections of what they've seen, heard, or consumed, from media, their environment, even the people they spend the most time with. And here's the essential truth. You either take control of your internal world, or you'll be ruled by the external one. Every morning, before I check my phone, open my email, or turn on the news, I do this. I enter an emotional state aligned with my life's mission. I prepare myself. I activate my system. I prime. Because while you can't control what happens around you, you absolutely can train how you respond within. Pay close attention. The life you experience is not based on what you have. It's based on what you focus on. You don't live in pure reality. You live in your interpretation of it. Everything you feel, everything you decide, every action you take, it all starts with your focus. And if you don't choose that focus intentionally, someone else will. That's why, the moment the day begins, I take control of my mind. Let's be clear. Priming is not meditation, it's activation. People often ask me, Tony, is this just meditation? Not exactly. Not in the way most people understand it. I was never the guy who could sit still for hours in silence. I'm energy, I'm movement, I'm momentum, but I came to understand the power of intentional silence. So I built my own process, a routine that stimulates the body, the mind, and the spirit. It's like warming up your nervous system before a performance. You don't walk in cold. You fire yourself up. That's what priming is. Let me say it again. If you can't give yourself just 10 minutes a day, you're stuck in survival mode. You weren't born to merely survive. You were born to grow, to impact, to shine. So here's my message, crystal clear. Choose your emotional state. Program your mind. Live with intention. Start your day as the leader of your destiny, not as a victim of your circumstances. Priming is conscious repetition. It's emotional reconditioning. You might know a lot in your mind, but if it's not integrated into your body, if it's not practiced, it's just information. Priming turns knowledge into transformation. And when you do it daily, something powerful happens. You build emotional strength. You become more grounded, more prepared, more centered. While most people wake up already drowning in chaos, you can choose your energy. You don't need the world's permission. You grant it to yourself. Priming is the foundation of emotional performance. Do you want more clarity, more focus, more peace in the middle of the storm? All of it is already inside you, but it must be activated. Now I pause to tell you something important. If this message is resonating with you, and you want to go even deeper into your personal growth, I invite you to visit my website, thepowerofyourmindx.com. The link will be in the description of the video. There you will find more speeches like this, designed to inspire you and help you transform your life. And now, we continue. It must be chosen. It must be trained. Because if you don't program your mind every day, someone else will. And that someone is not thinking about your dreams. Principle 2. The difference between conventional meditation and my active technique. When people ask me, is what you do a form of meditation? My answer is, it depends. If you define meditation as emptying the mind, then no. But for me, meditation can mean movement. It can mean breathing. It can mean lighting up your energy. I'm a man of action. I connect with myself by running along the beach, by serving others, by immersing myself in nature. That's what centers me. That's what activates me. Because I learned, it's not enough to calm the mind if you don't know what to do with that peace. There's a difference between stopping and preparing. My method doesn't empty the mind. It fills it with clarity and intention. I use the body, the breath, the energy. The body doesn't lie. It's the bridge between what you think and what you feel. When you activate the body, you change your chemistry. And that changes your emotional state. Most people live on autopilot, soaked in anxiety without realizing it. That's why I don't sit around in the morning waiting for peace to find me. I reprogram my nervous system. I train my body to live in the emotional state aligned with the life I want. Others use meditation to escape the world. I use it to enter the world, more powerful than before. It's not about avoiding thoughts. It's about choosing which thoughts will dominate your day. You can think positive all you want, but if your body is collapsed, if your posture screams defeat, you won't feel anything. And if you can't feel it, you can't sustain it. That's why I start with movement, with breath, with energy. I wake myself up, inside and out. I'm not against traditional meditation. I honor what works for others. But if you want emotional performance at a higher level, you must go beyond just thinking. You must program your body. Because when chaos strikes, you won't have time to think. You'll need to respond. And my method prepares you for that moment. It's not passive, it's active, emotional, physical, spiritual. I use gratitude to change my biochemistry. I use breath to clear inner pathways. I focus my mind with clarity. And all of that happens while I move, with energy and precision. The mistake most people make, thinking they need an hour to reconnect. False. 10 minutes is enough to start an inner revolution, but only if you give it everything. This practice prepares me for any storm. When you choose how you want to feel at the start of your day, the external world loses its grip on you. You're no longer the effect, you're the cause. You command your frequency, and that's how you lead your life. This is my meditation. It's not passive, it's active. A daily training to become the best version of myself. The world doesn't need more calm people. It needs more people who are on fire, present, powerful, and alive. You're the one who defines the value of your time. Most people confuse productivity with being endlessly busy. They think more hours means more results. But they're wrong. Impact isn't about hours worked. It's about energy. It's about intensity. It's about presence. When I tell you that 10 minutes can completely change your emotional state, I don't say it as a motivational phrase. I say it as someone who's done this practice for over 2 decades. Without fail, every day, even while traveling, even when I'm exhausted, especially on those days. Let me be clear. If you can't commit 10 minutes to yourself each day, you're not really living. You're being consumed by your obligations. That's not a life. That's survival mode. 10 minutes may seem like nothing until you turn it into your sacred ritual. The space where your body, your mind, and your soul come into alignment before facing the day. What I do in those 10 minutes is simple, but deeply transformational. It's not random. It's not, let's see how I feel today. It's a system, a strategy, a formula that stimulates your nervous system, sharpens your focus, and directs your life energy. Part 1. 3 minutes of intense gratitude. Not just saying, I'm grateful, but feeling it, reliving a memory. Being in that moment, right now, smelling it, hearing it, seeing it, because the body doesn't know the difference between reality and vivid imagination. It responds the same way. That rewires your brain. It dissolves fear. It clears away anger. Gratitude is the ultimate antidote to sabotaging emotions. Part 2. Blessing others. I ask for strength, clarity, and guidance. Not just for myself, but for the people I love, for my team, for those I will serve that day. I build a real connection with the world. Because when you connect to something greater than yourself, your ego quiets and your spirit rises. Part 3. Visualization of 3 outcomes I want to achieve. And here's the key. I don't just imagine them. I feel them. I live them. I celebrate them, as if they've already happened. That activates your achievement system. And once it's active, your brain and body begin to work toward those results naturally, powerfully, and with unstoppable momentum. It's like creating a memory in advance. I'm training my brain to recognize opportunities aligned with my goals. This isn't fantasy. It's neuroscience. If today you buy a red car, tomorrow, you'll see red cars everywhere. Why? Because your brain learned to focus on that stimulus. It's called the Reticular Activating System, and you can harness it to build your future. All of this happens in just 10 minutes. 10 minutes that determine how the rest of my day unfolds. Because when you start with intention, it's much harder for the world to knock you off balance. You begin your day with your hands on the wheel, not dragged by the current. You take command of your mind. You don't let it drag you around aimlessly. That's why 10 minutes is more than enough. You don't need more time. You need more decision, more attention, more emotional intensity. And that depends solely on you, every single morning. Principle 4, the power of felt gratitude, not just thought. Gratitude. Gratitude is so much more than listing pretty things or posting empty phrases on social media. Real gratitude doesn't happen when you say, I'm grateful. It happens when your body fully relives a powerful, positive, unforgettable experience. Most people think gratitude is a mental act, but if it doesn't shift your body chemistry, it's not working. If it doesn't change how your chest feels, how your stomach responds, how your nervous system lights up, then it's just a hollow idea. And an idea without emotion has no power to transform. So after I've activated my body in the morning, I drop into a deep state of gratitude. Not just recalling a memory mentally. I go back to it. I relive it. I breathe it in. I see my daughter's smile. I hear the ocean. I feel the wind on my skin. I let my body respond as if I'm really there again. And why do I do that? Because when you experience something so intensely, you're not pretending. You're re-educating your mind. And your brain believes it's actually happening. So your body starts producing the same hormones, chemicals, and signals. You feel energized, uplifted, joyful. Pay attention. Where there is true gratitude, there's no room for fear. Where there is gratitude, anger and insecurity can't survive. Negative emotions can't live in a body that's deeply grateful. That's why, even on my hardest days, I do this practice. It pulls me out of the narrow, worried mind and brings me back into the present, abundant and alive. And it doesn't need to be something massive. It's not always your biggest win. Often, the magic is in the small things, the smell of coffee, a warm hug, a sunset you almost missed because you were too busy. I choose to be grateful for what reminds me who I am. Beyond the noise, beyond the roles, beyond the to-do list. And when I feel that kind of gratitude in every cell of my being, become a better human, more loving, more aware, more real. And you know what else happens? Gratitude releases pure energy. It recharges you, it expands your awareness. When you are truly grateful, you don't see limits, you see possibilities. You're no longer trapped in scarcity. You're connected to abundance. You start believing again. And most importantly, gratitude prepares you to serve. Because when you feel like you already have everything, you stop chasing and you start sharing. So next time you write a gratitude list, don't just write words. Close your eyes. Return to that moment. See it, feel it, hear it, live it. Gratitude is not a technique. It's a way of existing. And if you do this daily, no matter what the world throws at you, you'll carry inside you a point of balance, a fire that won't go out. That is the power of felt gratitude. Principle 5. The discipline of cold showers and its impact on the brain. There's a reason that before I think about coffee, emails, or obligations, I immerse myself in freezing cold water. And I'm not talking about a quick splash. I mean 11 degrees Celsius. Water that takes your breath away. Water that forces you awake. Why do I do it? Because that's when I win my first battle of the day against myself. Listen carefully. No one wakes up craving to dive into ice, not even me. And I've been doing it for over 17 years. Still, there's never been a morning where I say, "Oh great, I can't wait to get into the cold." But also, there's never been a day where I negotiate with myself. I don't argue, I don't justify, I act. Because the greatest obstacle for most people lives in their internal conversations, the ones they use to avoid effort. Here's the key. Emotional strength is built by winning small battles every day against your comfort zone. The cold shower isn't about the cold. It's about sculpting your identity. Every time I step into that icy water, I remind myself of who I am. Someone who keeps their word, who doesn't need to feel motivated, who acts from decision. And that changes everything, because if you begin your day by overcoming that part of yourself that seeks comfort, you've already started ahead. Now let's talk science. This isn't just mindset, it's biology. When you expose yourself to extreme cold, your nervous system activates powerfully. You release norepinephrine, you boost dopamine, you improve circulation, you stimulate your lymphatic system. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain. You truly wake up. You fire up your ability to react with clarity and force. Even more important, you train your mind to act, even in discomfort. You build resilience. You send a clear message to your entire being. We're not here for easy. We're here for essential. Most people program themselves to escape from the cold, from conflict, from uncertainty. But life doesn't reward those who run away. Life answers to courage, and courage is built one decision at a time. You might say, "Tony, it's just a shower." And I'll tell you, no, it's not just a shower, it's an internal declaration. It's the moment you reclaim control over your biology. The moment you show your nervous system who's in charge. The instant you reconnect to your strength, your ability to act, your vital energy. And when you do it without hesitation, when your body already knows that if you say go, you gain a kind of freedom most people never taste: emotional freedom. Because if you can step into ice on purpose, then you can face that uncomfortable conversation, that big project, that fear you've carried for years. You understand that discomfort isn't the enemy. It's the door to your evolution. The cold plunge is symbolic, but it's also very real. It's your daily proof of commitment to growth, your loyalty to who you say you are, your decision to live not based on how you feel, but on who you choose to become. That is the power of emotional self-discipline, and it all begins with that moment beneath the freezing water. This cycle, in just 10 minutes, prepares me to win. Not from arrogance, but from clarity and inner alignment. This is not a theory, it's a routine. It's repetition, it's mastery. Because greatness is not built by what you do once, but by what you do daily, even when no one is watching. This ritual is my hidden practice. It's where I win, before the game even begins. Because when I enter a state of genuine gratitude, living compassion, and emotionally intense visualization, nothing outside can shake my balance. You don't need to control the world. You only need to start your day by mastering your inner world. This cycle is the most effective way to do that. Principle 7. How to rewire your reticular system to reach your goals. There's a system in your brain working 24/7, whether you're aware of it or not. It's called the Reticular Activating System, RAS. It filters all the information your brain receives. It decides, without you realizing it, what deserves your attention and what can be ignored. Here's the key. If you're not training it consciously, it's being trained by accident, by algorithms, fears, past experiences, and external chaos. That's why I practice something daily: emotionally vivid visualization. It's not enough to think about what you want. You have to see it, feel it, and celebrate it like it's already yours. That's how you reprogram your internal radar. That's how you shift your perception system. Ever bought a new car and started seeing that model everywhere? Or thought of someone and suddenly they texted you? That's not coincidence. That's focus. That's your RAS in action. Now imagine harnessing that same system to serve your dreams. Every time I visualize my goals during my morning priming, I'm not daydreaming. I'm training my mind to prioritize those goals. I'm calibrating my nervous system to detect signals, opportunities, and connections aligned with my vision. I see it with my mind. I feel it in my body. I celebrate it like it's done. That creates emotional and physiological congruence with what I want. A lot of people desire something but vibrate in the opposite frequency. They want love but feel empty. They want success but fear failure. And here's the truth. Your RAS doesn't respond to thoughts alone. It responds to your emotional state. That's why your inner energy is the key to unlocking opportunity. This isn't optional. It's not about wishing. It's about programming. Using your senses, your emotions, and your focus to bring visions to life. Top athletes have done this for years. They visualize the perfect move before it happens. They mentally rehearse their win. And when it's game time, their body just flows because it's already lived it. It's already embedded in their system. You can apply that same principle to your business, your health, your relationships, your personal growth. The secret? repetition, intensity, alignment. When you activate your RAS on purpose, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You start noticing everything that moves you closer to your dreams. And most importantly, you take action. Because now your mind is working with you, not against you. It anticipates, connects dots, spots key people, finds new paths, but only if you're consistent. One emotionally charged. Visualization is more powerful than 1,000 empty affirmations. What convinces your brain isn't words, it's sensation, vivid imagery, and repeated choices. Your destiny won't be built on luck. It'll be built with intention, direction, and discipline. Want to transform your life? Start by changing what your mind believes is important. That's the key. Activate your radar, aim your focus. Because attention changes everything. Retrain your perception. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as your mind has been trained to interpret it. Principle 8. The difference between emotional intelligence and emotional strength. You've probably heard about emotional intelligence. It's everywhere. Books, workshops, podcasts. And yes, it's useful to recognize emotions, understand how you feel, and pick up on what others are feeling. But here's the truth. Emotional intelligence is just the starting point. It's the map, not the journey. Knowing what you feel doesn't mean you can change it. Understanding your emotional patterns doesn't mean you have the power to shift them. What truly shapes your destiny is what I call emotional training. You can be emotionally aware and still be a prisoner of your reactions, fears, and insecurities. You can trace your sadness to childhood and still be overwhelmed by it. That's where emotional strength comes in. Because knowing without acting is only potential. The real power lies in practice. What makes the difference isn't what you know, it's what you live. Victory belongs not to the inspired, but to the one who acts, even on the hard days. Training the mind is like training the body. It takes intention, consistency, repetition. A lot of people want results without the process. They want inner peace without effort. But you don't build inner strength by listening to motivational quotes or watching viral videos. You build it by showing up every day, determined to strengthen your emotional center, no matter what. People often tell me I'm very sensitive, and I always say that's beautiful. But if you don't know how to manage it, your sensitivity will blow with the wind. The world won't soften for you. But if you can be sensitive and strong, then you become powerful. Because what once hurt you now trains you. What once blocked you now fuels your growth. I always say this: what people applaud in public is what you cultivated in private. No cameras, no crowd, just you. Life doesn't reward what you know. It rewards what you're ready for. And this emotional strength? It's not a one-time achievement. It's a daily habit, like brushing your teeth, like breathing. Each day you build your response, your presence, your emotional stability. You can have a bad day and still respond with grace. You can face a crisis and still act with integrity. You might feel exhausted and still tap into that inner power because you built it, you trained it. That's what we call inner maturity. That's self-leadership. And the best part? No one can take that away from you. People might leave. Circumstances might change. But when you've built that strength, you'll always find the way forward. Because you're not powered by the external. You're anchored from within. That's the difference. Emotional intelligence understands. Emotional strength transforms. If this message inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our motivational speeches. Every week, we upload content that can help you transform your life. See you in the next video.